So welcome to Enigmatic Consciousness.
Hi.
Hi. Here with
Hi.
MJ today. Hi MJ.
Hi.
What's shaking?
Canada.
Canada. Canada.
Doesn't every time I talk about my friend to you, because like I never call you Steven or anything like that. You're just Canada.
I'm just kidding.
She was like, but Canada doesn't exist. I don't know where she got that.
I don't know either.
I don't know. She's referencing something. I just know it. I just don't know what.
I don't know. South Park maybe? I don't know.
See, that's my first thing too. But all I do is like, no, but he has a talking trash can though.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny too because one of my friends in the UK, she's having a baby. And we talk on a pretty consistent daily basis. So she said that she's gonna have her kid call me Canadian Uncle Steve. And I'm like, it sounds like you have a bunch of Steves all over the world, and
Yes.
I'm Canadian Steve. I'm like, she's like, no, you're the only Steve, but I don't know, it just works. I'm like, we'll teach him about the world. Be like, oh
Uncle
yeah,
Canada is what I would call
Uncle Canada.
do it.
All right, well, if you have kids someday, they can call me Uncle Canada.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll be doing this and you'll be shushing them, being like, I'm busy videoing with Uncle Canada right now.
Yes, and oh my God, what would yours called me? Can I be late? Okay, okay, Lady Liberty. I'm just
Lady
taking it
Lady
because I'm
Liberty.
Libra, Lady Liberty, and also America,
America.
America.
Maricalanavania.
My last name is actually also French. It's anglicized French, and that was a gift from France. So I mean, I'm taking it.
All right.
Yeah, that's how that's happening.
Oh God. I feel like I basically at this point have the intro and have to edit everything up until this point out.
Just leave it. It'll be
It's
fine.
fine. It's entertaining. Um Oh yeah, what are we talking about today? We were gonna talk about some
I think we were going to talk about witchcraft.
witchcraft. Ooh, there's something else I wanted to talk about too. I actually remember now. And
Mhm.
I just talk about it now before we dive into the witchcraft stuff because I won't remember in an hour. Um, I saw this video about Jonah Hill. I don't know if you
Okay.
saw it. It's been on Facebook, but he's making this it's not like a biographical movie about himself, but it kind of is in some sense.
Hmm.
And he's talking about his life, and he's talking about how he struggled with his weight, and he was always that kind of punch bag in Hollywood for he was always the laughing stock. He was always that fat funny guy, right? And then his weight was up and down, and people
Hmm.
really roasted on him for that. And
Yeah.
he just talked about how emotionally that affected him, and that Emma Stone and Channing Tatum really helped him kind of get through that. And he's started going to therapy and stuff, and he's in a lot better place with himself. But I
Good.
found it the whole thing was so relatable, and it was funny because people have always said that if I had a movie about my life, Jonah Hill would probably play me,
Hmm.
because I've
Okay.
always been my weight's always been so up and down. I've always just kind of been that fat funny guy, right? So that was just super interesting, and I was just like, oh my God, this guy's actually somewhat of an inspiring human being, and people compare me to him.
Yay.
So I felt good about it after. I don't know.
That's fun. Also, that's one of my favorite questions to ask people, or kind of imagine who would you have playing you in a movie. So thank you for, inadvertently answering that. Yay.
Yay. Who would play you?
Oh my God, funny you should mention her name. So in second place, I was gonna say Emma Stone. Third place is Ellen Page, because after seeing Juno, my brother's just like, that's you. However, I feel that in first place, I would have to have Jennifer Lawrence play me,
Okay.
because she's a tomboy and she's really fucking awkward, and I don't know. I've watched so many clips of her. It's just that's me. That's me. I want to hang out with her, but it's I just be hanging out with me. But that'd be fun, wouldn't it? For a bit.
Well, I mean, unless it was the arch nemesis you mentioned earlier, and it would just get to be too much. But
Yes.
You never know.
Here's hoping though, because this is like our third attempt. We're older now, we're wiser.
Yeah,
We've both chilled out, which is good. I'm pretty sure we're both fire dominant bitches.
yeah,
She's like all Leo, I want to say. I'm more Aries. So I mean, here's just hoping.
here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, I was actually thinking like, and she's kind of older now, but I was thinking like maybe like 1990s Sandra Bullock.
Who to play me?
Yeah,
Oh my God. Thank you.
like what was that movie? Is it 28
Practical magic?
Days? I was thinking 28 Days. She goes to like
I didn't see
rehab and
that.
she's just like this like crazy bitch.
My God, it's been so long since I've watched that. I think that was because I remember she went, yeah.
It's true, practical
I
magic
was,
too. That's the other another one. Yeah,
that's who I was
I didn't even
thinking too,
think of
like,
that. I was just thinking I was thinking of like the woman who was just like a mess and went to rehab and then got her life together kind of thing.
thanks.
Was like for some
I
reason
mean,
reminded me of
that
you, but
actually does fit me more. Thank you. I never went to rehab. I just went to therapy. So, I mean, basically the same thing, but not for drugs. It was for other stuff. I was really hoping you met practical magic, but it's like that's not accurate. That's what I'm trying to move towards, but I'm definitely more of a Jillian.
yeah. Yeah, you are. Like if you could swap
I'm trying to
the
move
two
away.
main characters, you'd be the one who would like accidentally kill a guy and then resurrect him from the backyard. So
Oh God, yes. Fun. That would be so much fun. But no, I'm trying to move more into that Sally Bullock
yeah.
role.
It's funny. I had a dream once that I was partying with Jonah Hill.
Did you?
Yeah, and there was like this rainbow cocaine or something, and then I don't know why, but at the party, like all the women had like done this rainbow cocaine, ended up like shaving their heads. So there were all
Oh,
these bald women walking around. They were just like high at their mind at this party. I don't know. It was a weird dream.
oh my. Well,
Um,
that is very active.
but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know why I ended up going to this party with Jonah Hill, but
So if you met Jonah Hill and he invited you to a party, would you go now?
oh yeah. I would just like more to like get him in a corner and just like pick his brain and just like have a deep ass conversation. But like if it was an opportunity to hang out with him for a few hours and chat and like maybe get some booze in him so he'd be like ease up a little bit, yeah.
Yes.
Just get him to like spill his entire soul to me.
Yeah.
Because
That'd be fun.
that's what I enjoy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, let's this is so like not on track already and it's just
It's
starting,
already
but
not.
it's fine. Whatever. This is
I
what happens. I
was
was
going to blame it on me being high, but it's like, no, I think I'm fairly sober now. Like,
yeah, you seem fine. I mean, you seem fine last time too, but you just thought you weren't. But
I really was it. I'm questioning, do I need to go get it now? And then we'll have some like even deeper talks. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that up to you.
well, it's your life. Do what you want. I'm not gonna stop you if you want to. Go ahead.
All right. Give me 1 second. This will be fun.
All right. So
Okay.
why don't you
What?
kind of kick it off?
Oh my God, where?
The witchcraft.
Okay, like for me personally, or like,
Well, okay, like just to give some background on this. So we want to kind of I've been thinking about like how to approach this, and I know like we're kind of specifically going to talk about love spells.
mhm,
Um, but it really just even relates back to um,
intentions?
intentions and what you put out is what you get back, and
Mhm,
also your relationship with yourself. Because if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, um, it's going to like amplify those energies, and it can kind of like whatever you're kind of guiding that energy towards is going to be based off your own energy. So if you don't have good energy within yourself
mhm,
and you're not in a good place with yourself, it's going to like rebound in a sense, or
mhm.
it can rebound in a sense. And I see that
Definitely.
a lot with like where I grew up, because there would be like there's a huge witch community there, but like their lives are constantly in turmoil and they're always like it's always some blow up between each other, always some kind of drama going on, and it's like they have these like rituals and services and stuff that they do with each other, and then it's just a lot of bad energy with
Mm-hmm.
it, and you kind of see how that, like, I don't know, like I don't know how they don't see it. Like from an outside perspective, I see it as, their lives are constantly in turmoil. Like there's always something bad happening. And
Yes.
it's just like, wake up and kind of change what you're doing. Like be aware of how you're affecting the outcome of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Gotcha. Okay,
my
so as
spiel
while
on it.
you were no, so while you were talking, I can't help but think about, sorry to name drop if anybody knows her, but Cassidy, because we grew up together from age like 9, 10 up to, I mean, we were hanging out a couple times last year. Um, but mostly we broke up after I left my ex in what year was that? 2014. Like that was kind of what broke us up, I guess, for multiple reasons. But anywho, like when we were that age, mind you, she and I both are mediums. I come from a family of mediums. I don't know what the family history with them is, but they do tend to have like a couple of them here and there be able to like have paranormal activity happening and stuff like that. So when she would come over to my house, um see, this is why you always got to know what the fuck you're doing, because just like that meme that kind of gets shared around and I sometimes share just because it's like, ah, memories. It's basically like, what is it about like preteen girls like all of a sudden getting really interested in the occult and necromancy and tarot and spells, and it's just like, man, I was totally that kid. I totally had like a small group of girls that would come over to my house, or it was mostly my house because my house was, I don't know. I was only welcoming of like a couple people here, and it was just like, yeah, come on, whatever. What's that? Whatever. There's privacy. Um, but anyhow, like, so I'm pretty sure a portal got opened up at my house
Mm,
because all sorts of shit would start happening, but it would only happen to me or around me or when she and I were together. Um, and so for an example is there, I remember there was one time where she and I were in the computer room basically, and I don't know what we were doing, but we had a space heater in there and it kept turning on, and it like I would turn it off and then I finally unplugged it and it still turned on. So that
yeah.
was like thing. There was this time that I've told you about when we were in seventh grade. Um, I want to say it was around Halloween, but it wasn't exactly Halloween. I had several people over spending the night. My sister was in the room also. We were watching a movie together. And I started to feel really weird and like completely drained. And after the movie had ended, I was like in and out of consciousness and stuff like that. And Cassidy was looking down the hallway, which is always dark. There was no light that would get down there. But she was seeing like this big black figure mass sort of a thing, that it was like coming closer. And she kept trying to like shake me awake and stuff like that. But there's literally nothing I could do. I was so out of it. And I don't know what happened. But the next morning, I had like a fever of like 104. Like my dad had taken them home, and like I went to the hospital basically, like
Mhm.
um whatever that was. But it was like, um I don't know, just I got pushed into the pool once. Like it was just weird. Like there was all sorts of, and I had like these handprints on my back where I felt it and everything. So I mean, it was just weird. And um there was, I also watched this show one time. It was about like, I forget what it was. like My Haunted House or something like that. But anywho, it was an episode. I just was on random. I was getting ready for work, and it was talking about how this girl was a medium, but she didn't know it, and through her like um own like negativity or something like that, through what was happening in her life, was like being like thrown back at her. It was her own energy attacking her, sort of a thing. And it was like I had gotten chills when I heard that, and it was like I'm pretty sure that's what happened to me. Like, and like I remember I was like, Mom, watch this. Like it was I don't know, it kind of just made sense. And so I don't know if like we had opened a portal or if it was just that. I'm pretty sure it was just that, because nothing has really followed me ever since. However, Cassidy, on the other hand, because she has a lot of unresolved trauma and stuff like that, versus if that uh, energy latched onto her and it's just kind of like a blending of things, I don't know. But her life tends to be one chaotic mess after another, which I can't judge because I've been there and I'm trying to get out of it. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's what your spiel was reminding me of.
Yeah, and I would say I've had a lot similar to that just because the house I grew up in was, it very much did have open portals in it. Um, and spirits would come and go, and there was a lot of negativity. But it's true because my sister and her friend really got into doing like seances.
Did that too. Yep.
Yeah, and like I remember sitting in on some of them, and um, just so much weird shit happened. Like my house and my sister's friend's house both. Like it just got so bizarre, and in a sense, like a lot of it, especially the stuff happening at my sister's friend's house, it got blamed on like mental health, but it was really like, I don't know, like looking back on it, I can see where it probably all tied in, but
Yeah.
um like a lot of weird stuff happened in the house I grew up in, and there was so much negative energy in that house. And it's true, like for myself being empathic, like I took on all that energy and I held on to it, and it made me feel very powerful initially, but it as I got older and I had it for so long, like it starts to rebound on you after a while. It starts making you sick.
Hmm.
And the longer you stay energetically sick, the longer, you start to become physically ill and mentally ill, and like it just builds up and builds up. So like for me, my awakening process, I guess, was like a reset button to
Hmm.
just clear all that and start fresh. But it was just, it was terrifying, like what would happen sometimes. And it was, I remember like I had years and years, like I would not sleep with the light off at night. Like I
Hmm.
had an overhead light on all the time in my room because I was too afraid to like shut the light off and then go to the bed. um and I had, oh my god, just like I could literally do a podcast just about my experiences in that house. So that's why
We
I
need to.
I don't want to just like rant about that for 2 hours, because like I literally could, like so much shit happen. But um
Well, if
I
you ever decide to, motherfucker, I'm
oh,
here. Let's throw down
we totally
on
can,
paranormal
like.
activities.
And it was like I had once, like I think I've told you most of the stuff, but just for the sake of it's on camera and making it public, but I had
Mhm.
the Furby that disappeared. And then like 6 months later, there was like almost like an attic crawl space. Like in my bedroom, there were these like tiny little doors on the
Mhm.
walls that went into this attic crawl space. And in the middle of the night, this freaking Furby, I could hear it in the attic crawl space next to my bed through the
Mhm.
wall, and it was fucking laughing at me.
Fuck that
And it was
shit.
just, yeah, like I was so terrified.
Can't I no.
I had another time where I was dreaming, and in my dream, like I was in a library in my dream, and then I was sitting in a chair, and then the chair fell back, and I could hear someone breathing really heavily, and then I
Hmm.
could feel them breathing on my neck. And in
Hmm.
my dream, I looked over to my side to see what it was breathing on my neck, and there was like this silhouette of a ghost of an old woman. And I
Hmm.
woke up and opened my eyes, and I could see her laying next to me on the bed, breathing really heavily on my neck.
I've woken up with somebody next to me too. But, like, I didn't see like a face. It was just like
Yeah,
this thick outline. I
yeah.
don't know.
Like
It was
I could
freaking
see her
creepy,
face
man.
clearly in my dream, but when I woke up, I could just see the outline of her, but I could still hear her breathing, and I could feel
Mhm.
her breathing on my neck. And it was
Yeah.
just, it's like you're paralyzed. Like you're it's
Yes.
so terrifying to wake up to that. Um, I had another time I got woken up in the middle of the night to the sound of children laughing, and I could see the silhouettes. And the way my bed was, it was like in the middle of the room, so like the left and right side of my bed were both like open. And I could see these spirits of these two children were chasing each other back and forth around my bed, and they were giggling.
Oh God, you had The Shining
And like,
basically.
yeah, I basically did, honestly. And like
Come play with us, Canada.
my dad honestly could have been like fucking Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
Oh
Like,
my God.
honestly, he was fucking like all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy,
What
and
is
like
his
could
name?
Pete.
Here's Petey.
Yeah, he literally he there were times like he could have put an axe through the door and been like,
Jesus.
"Here's Petey." Like I don't know.
It's just
Oh my god.
not him.
Like I wish cameras were as accessible when I was a child as they are now, because if I could have videotape of just like the shit my dad would say and do while I was growing up, like it's horrible, but like to look back on it, it's so fucking entertaining. Like I just, and like yeah, no, I just there's no proof of what went on in my household other than my accounts of it, but um yeah, so talked about how my sister got into doing seances and stuff. So for me, um, I was 15, turning 16, and it was in October. So it was near Halloween, and I had a friend who just, I don't, I don't know why. I went to his house one day, and he's like, "I bought this witchcraft book." Um,
Yeah.
I bought this witchcraft book. This is
Bitchin'!
fucking exact book.
Who's the author?
Lie DeAngelis.
Okay, so we did Silver Ravenwolf. Okay. All right.
So I actually recently bought that book so I can like revisit um what was in it. It was a weird time in my life back then. So anyways, we had this brilliant idea that because I couldn't get a girlfriend, I had asked out pretty much every girl at school that I knew,
Mhm.
and none of them wanted to go out with me. So we had this brilliant idea to do a love spell. I didn't actually read the book prior to us doing this ritual.
Me neither.
I let him guide me through it. Okay, this is where you're like something was pulling the strings in this, because the way he told me to do the ritual was not in the book. I think
Mhm.
the book was just there to convince me to do it. Um, and he like guided me through this whole intricate ritual. Um, I had never really consumed alcohol before, and at some point he said I would have to drink wine, and we didn't have any wine. All he had in his house was liqueur.
Ah.
So he filled a wine glass with liqueur and put a Kool-Aid packet in it. Um, so I consumed like a far higher content of alcohol than what I should have, and I also didn't eat that day, and it was like
Oh, great.
I had no tolerance because I never drank it. So I was
Yeah.
I don't know how I
You were in
didn't.
it.
I don't know how I didn't throw up, but I made it through
Yeah.
that part. Um, and oh my God, it was just like I got through this whole ritual. We like made this whole intricate thing. Like we literally went outside and we like gathered materials to do all this, like out in parks and stuff. And like we got these stones, and like there had been a willow tree that got hit by lightning, and there was a huge chunk of the tree on the ground. So like I ended up getting like willow to make a wand out of. Um, that
Awesome.
whole day was weird. It was so freaking weird the way it just like everything was just kind of like guiding into place, and not in like a good way though. Like it was super ominous, and um, we got through this whole thing, and I he said that we had to put like we had the intention in some wax, and we had this like thing with like a pentagram, and he said that we had to go put it outside at midnight and like get rid of it or whatever, and like that was how you released like the I guess release the intention of the universe or whatever. So we did all that, took it outside, literally like this church bell rang at midnight dead on, and
Hmm.
then I parted ways with him and I walked home. And I wasn't drunk anymore at this point. I should clarify that, because like we started this ritual at like 5 p.m. So by now it's midnight. I had drank somewhere between 6 and 7. So like I wasn't intoxicated at all anymore. But I remember the church bell going off, and I remember saying goodbye to him. And then I woke up in my bed at home. Like I didn't remember walking home. I didn't remember going to bed. I literally just woke up the next day and didn't remember anything.
Hmm.
And like as the days went on, I felt this energy was like heavier and heavier on me. And then my dreams started getting super weird. And um there was always this figure present, and I was always trapped in like it was always dark. Like it would look like the city I was living in, but the dreams are so vivid and realistic. But it was
Yeah.
always nighttime, it was always dark. Um and this figure would always appear, and at the end of the dream every single time he would like kill me in some horrific way.
Hmm.
But like I would actually feel it. Like I would feel everything that was happening to me in the dream, and they were just horrifying, and they it was taking so much energy out of me. um and then I realized that I was literally just like trapped in this like dark bubble. Like when I would fall asleep, the room would feel like it was spinning,
Hmm.
so I'd feel like I was going into an altered state, and then I just be like in this darkness. And um I managed to break out of it on my own. But that went on for like a few months, and I was just it took so much out of me, and that was just I was so vulnerable, and it like something literally just took advantage of me to get me into that state.
Hmm.
I don't really know what the intent behind it was. I don't really want to know, but um shit really got whack. And then I had one other time a couple years after that where I attempted to do another love spell, because didn't fucking learn the first time apparently.
Yep. Of
um
course.
and nothing like that happened, but everything fell into place where the person who I was trying to cast a love spell on, I was being made to believe that they were interested in me.
Uh-huh.
um and they weren't, but it was so convincing that they were. And I'd have like other people saying to me that she really liked me, that she was really into me, this and that. And then like when I would try to approach her, like we just kept getting into like arguments, but she wouldn't be straight with me either, so it was always left up in the air.
Hmm.
And it was just so emotionally taxing. But like it turned out that she was a lesbian.
Oh, okay.
So it was like there wasn't any chance in hell of that love spell working.
Hmm.
um at all. But I was convinced because of what was happening, because people were literally saying to me like, she likes you, she told me that she liked you, she's interested in you, blah blah blah. And then like
Hmm.
we had a conversation about it, like me and her, like a couple of years after. And when the dust had finally settled and we could have a conversation without like ripping each other's heads off. And she said to me, like, you know, I never told anyone that I liked you. I don't know why you thought that. I'm like, well, like your aunt, my sister, whole bunch of people who were mutually involved between the two of us, like said this shit. I like that's why I thought you were just playing hard to get because we're teenagers. Like that's what fucking girls do apparently. So like I didn't know any different. But yeah, so lesson learned, you can't force anybody else to fall in love with you.
No,
Moral of the fucking story.
you cannot interfere with free will. However, if you are going to do a love spell, I guess there are like certain ways around it. Um, like if you're gonna do a love spell, first and foremost, I recommend you do it to yourself. Like, hey,
Yeah,
I want to experience more self-love so that whenever, I do not only physically attract a mate, that sounds weird to say, but whatever. I had to really think about like
well,
that just really escaped my lips. But
kind of where it starts.
yeah, like, not only like physically attract, but mentally attract, somebody, then there's a higher chance of it being healthy and better, longer lasting and stuff like that. Also, kind of like if anybody read Harry Potter, you know that Molly Weasley said that you can't create magic from nothing. She was meaning food, but I think that also applies to feelings. So, like, if somebody just doesn't see you in that way, you're not going to change that.
No.
Now, if you are like already in a relationship with somebody, or like you already have like a foundational relationship with a person, regardless. And it's like, hey, I miss that they used to do this. I want to bring that back. You can use magic to bring that back because it's already existed. It's already been there. It's already been someplace located in their essence, in their heart, in their aura.
Yeah.
You can work that in your favor. Again, you cannot fuck with anybody's free will. There you
No.
go. And that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
And I have a couple thoughts on what you just said. Like
Hmm.
first part I kind of get to is just that as you work on your relationship with yourself, you start to establish more genuine connections. And as you develop your self awareness, you become more aware of those genuine connections. So it becomes easier to find a potential mate because you'll find someone like regardless of whether you do have the self-awareness, you're going to attract someone who's on the same level you are. So if you're
Hmm.
not in a good place with yourself, you're going to attract someone else who's not in a good place with themselves,
Hmm.
and it's just going to be a lot of chaos between the two of you. And that's why like I've taken time to be single and be alone and work out my shit because um like 5 years ago I couldn't have brought the best version of myself to any relationship, even if the perfect person was placed right in front of me, which in some sense you could say they were.
Hmm.
Our last podcast that we did,
Yep.
um I wasn't ready for it back then, um and that helped push me in the right direction. But like the energy has to be there. So I was reading a book. um I don't remember the name of the book. I only referenced it because it said something about twin flames. So
Hmm.
i I skimmed through it, but it talked about how we need to connect with people on certain levels. So it breaks it up into physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and then there's divine connection.
Oh, I
Um,
like that. It's very.
but I like the way he put it too. So the way he puts it is that if there's only one level of connection, you're not
Mhm.
going to last in a relationship. So if there's only a physical connection there, the relationship's not going to last. And it can
Mhm.
go the same for mental or emotional. You might find comfort in having an emotional connection with someone, but in the long term, that's not going to be a good foundation for a relationship. So he says like you need at least two. So like if there's a physical connection, you need to also connect either mentally, emotionally, or spiritually to at least be able to make it work, period. Like, and even then you're not 100% guaranteed, but the more levels you connect on, the more likely it is to work out. So you need at least two to actually have a relationship with someone.
Mhm.
So, and I totally agree with that because it's true. Because if there's only one, there's going to be too much disconnect on the other levels. So, as the relationship gets deeper, and particularly it starts physical for a lot of people, because um, unless you feel like a spiritual or divine connection to them immediately, um, you need to actually get to know someone before you can feel a mental or emotional connection to them. So if you're going by physical, mental, and emotional, it's going to start with the physical, and then you got to connect on one of the other two if there's not a higher connection there. And I
Spoken like a true Capricorn. Congratulations.
thank thank
What
you.
the fuck,
Yeah,
man?
let me break relationships up into a fucking spreadsheet for you
Exactly.
and
Boring.
take
Oh my God. Okay, well, thank you, Professor. Jesus.
hey, you're here to entertain people. I'm here to educate them. All right, like
All right.
I'm kidding. We can do both. It's just
Yes.
nobody but Capricorns are gonna get my humor. So, um,
Oh my God. Okay, you gotta jazz it the fuck up for me for my Aries and Libra shit.
numbers and spreadsheets and pie charts. Ha 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 ha.
God, I will burn it into my fucking tornado of fire.
Oh my god. Anyways, um, so yeah,
Sorry.
we we need levels of connectedness. We need
We do. I
we
will totally give you
we
that.
we
Yes.
do need that. Yeah, I apparently
I love that because psychology backs you up on that. So I mean, I'm not going
no,
to dispute it.
and
Of
it's
course
true.
not.
Like I actually kind of wish I would have actually either taken a picture of that book or bought that book because
Yeah.
I like keep thinking recently I'm like, man, I could really use reading over the shit in this book. I don't remember what it was called.
Mhm.
I spotted it because the shop I work at, um we have a shelf by the window, and kind of like seasonally will put certain things on the shelf by the window to attract people into the store. So like it was in February, it was around Valentine's Day. So we had like hearts hanging, and we had like relationship books,
Yeah.
books on love and shit, and that was one of the ones sitting in the window, and then it said something about twin flames on it. So I fucking picked it up and started reading it, and I found the section about how it breaks up the different types of connectedness, and that it talks about how twin flames are like you're connected to that person on all those levels. But um, again, you need to work on your relationships with yourselves before you can actually come together and let yourselves connect on that level, because it's overwhelming to connect on so many levels if you're not in the right space for it.
Right on.
It's too much to handle. There was one more thing. Fucking God, I need like something that can read my thoughts and like sit in behind the computer like a teleprompter and just like write them down for me as I go so I can look
Yeah,
at it
that's
and go back to it.
you know what's funny that why you say that is because for years I have been telling people that it's like I wish we could just like kind of somehow be like Bluetooth to one another. Like this is the image that I'm seeing, or like, hey, watch my dream. Like, isn't that
or
some weird shit? Like,
or hey,
or
this is what I'm going to want to talk about in 5 minutes. Remind me of it.
exactly. Yes. Oh my God. Do you know how much more like do you know how much more simple like life would be? Man, I'm not a person who uses words to communicate. I mean, I try to be, but oh my God, there's a lot of pictures. That's like,
Yeah,
how do I speak in
I'm
pictures?
very internally visual, and I'm very feeling energy, and I've had, I don't know, it's whatever. I guess we're going to talk about past lives for a minute because that's a
Oh,
whole
okay.
other topic on its own. But like, I've seen past lives where I've been like sentient beings, so they were non-verbal, but they could communicate telepathically through feelings.
Okay.
So like for me, I'm more geared towards trying to do that, but human beings are very fucking incapable of doing that for the most part.
Yeah.
So I'm terrible with words, which is hilarious that I'm the one who's like, let's do a podcast because
It'll be good for us.
I can't speak a proper sentence to save my life. So I'm hoping in time this will develop my ability to speak.
You don't have like any air in your chart, do you? Well, your Venus is in
I
what, in Aquarius, or your moon's in
no,
Aquarius?
my moon's in Aquarius.
Okay.
My Venus is in Capricorn.
Oh my God. What what
My
rubbish.
my Mercury's in Capricorn, so there's that spreadsheet pie chart fucking version of connectedness that I just gave you. My
Oh my
Venus
God.
is in Capricorn, so I'm about as charming and graceful as a fucking rock. Um, and I've also got Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune in Capricorn as well.
Oh my God. That's well, you're very down to earth and grounded and
Oh
practical.
yeah, no, I
Somebody's gotta be. Somebody's gotta be.
if people need
Because God
grounding,
knows I'm not.
I can give people grounding.
See, it's so funny because, okay, what kind of people do you attract in your life? For me, I attract a lot of earth, not necessarily earth sun signs, but
Yeah.
heavy earth placements in my encounters and friendships and shit like that. And it's just like, oh my God, what is wrong with you all? Like, I mean, I know that they're here to teach me how to be practical, how to follow things through because I'm impulsive. I like am an ideas person, like, but I also am just plagued by it's not gonna come out right. Why even bother? Sort of
No,
a thing.
yeah.
So
Um
like I have all these projects and I never finish them because it's not fitting up to my standards. Where was I going with this?
well, my thought on that is well you asked me like if I attract certain signs
Yes.
or certain elements. Um and I can see that with you that like because you have that passion but you need that grounding and you need that
I remind people why life is fun. Like
yeah, but people need to remind you why you need a little bit of construct and you need
honestly,
you know
they have
some
I have the
grounding.
shit end of the stick. I
So
want to be taught how to have fun. What is that like?
yeah, and like I'm mostly earth and fire. Like there's not a lot of water or air in my chart. So my most dominant is earth, my second is fire, and then water and air both have a handful of signs. But oddly enough, you're one of the odd ones out because like everybody I attract into my life is a water sign.
Okay.
Like and we get along when we get along, but when we don't get along, it's just like it's like you said, like I can't communicate with them
Hmm.
because I'm so fucking blunt and they're so fucking emotional.
Yeah.
They can't handle my bluntness. So, I have a lot of you should say things this way because
Oh my God, I bet they love that.
and I'm like, uh no. I what comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. Like there's enough fire that
Yeah.
it makes my earthiness like I'm just basically a jackass.
Yeah.
I'm not just be blunt about it. I'm a fucking jackass when I talk. So I
I
just
prefer blunt. Stop being a pansy ass and just spit it out.
well, and that's it too. Like some people prefer that and I get along with those people. For people who
Same.
want me to like sugarcoat things and be considerate of their feelings, it doesn't go well because like
It is really difficult growing that
Capricorns
side of you.
are not feeling people. I sent you that meme with like there's I don't know if it was My Little Pony, but there's like these cartoon ponies and there's like three of them in the water and one on the shore and the one's in the water it's like Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and they're like, come in and feel emotions, and then the one on land, it's like earth signs, and it's like, fuck off.
Oh man. See, I'm kind of like that. Like more than anything, that's just I feel like I balance people out because whatever reaction you're having, I'm gonna have the other one just to balance it out. It's nothing that I really plan. It's just how it happens, I feel. Um, but yeah, like I'm normally not really put off by people crying because I'm just like, okay, you do your thing, you know,
Yeah, I
whatever.
mean, I'm awkward. I'm like, there, you know,
Yeah,
but like,
I'm trying so hard. Honestly, I'm trying so hard to like develop a social worker, very compassionate, knowing what to say at the right time and knowing just how to console you when you're crying. And it's just like I'm a pathetic ass earth sign. It's not earth sign. What the fuck is ugh,
no, I'm a
ugh.
pathetic ass earth sign. You're,
Yeah. I'm my friend and I were always saying we're pathetic air signs. And it's just like we really are. Like
yeah, because you're very logical and you're very
but see, yes,
minded.
I am. But see, I'm either way too detached from shit and easily detached, or I'm on a rager because I'm a fire moon. And that fucking cusp or that fucking
Just
like
burning emotions.
bruh, what? Yes, those burning fucking emotions. And also like that uh air water cusper for Scorpio, like Mercury. It's like I have
Oh yeah.
yeah, like that's fair. I'm either on a rager or just I could not give a shit less, if that makes sense. I'm just
Yeah. And like I struggle too with my job because like people come in and like they come in there in very vulnerable states and they're looking for something to help them kind of.
mm,
It's a very unique retail job anyways. It's about the most I can say about it, but and I try to be that person where they come in and they're really emotional about something, and then the moment they like start getting too emotional, I just get awkward and I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know how to handle you right now. like
you know,
I'm sorry that you broke up with your boyfriend, but there.
yes.
Buy these crystals, you'll feel better. like
There was a meme I saw a few years ago. It was like, I'm that supportive friend where this person is like puking like into like a toilet bowl, and the person grabs them up and is like poking them on the shoulder, saying, or hang on, there's the other one where somebody's throwing up into the toilet, and the cat sitting on top of them being an unsympathetic friend, like who is indifferent to your suffering. And it's just like, yes.
I'll sit here with you and do nothing to comfort you about it.
Yes. Oh my God. I love memes. They make everything great.
Oh god. Yeah, no, they're like the only form of discrimination anyone can get away with anymore. Where it's
Yeah.
like you can't say shit, but then if it's in a meme, it's okay.
Because they're kind of like infographics, man. They are educational.
Yeah, they're like a two square comic strip.
They are. They are. And then you have infographics, which are basically just info memes.
I thought this episode was supposed to be about witchcraft.
I thought so too, but man, it gets weird here. What else do you want to talk about?
oh gosh.
Oh, you know what? How about banishing? Hexing?
Yes.
Where do you stand on hexing?
Um I kind of stand with I I I don't know. Like it depends what the definition of hexing is like for you because some people have different definitions of it than others or maybe I think of it differently than some other people do. But in the sense of like I'm going to cause some kind of harm or inconvenience to someone else by using energy, like I don't really agree with that because like if someone's being a shitty person, they're going to get what's theirs whether you do it or not. So it's the same thing with messing with someone's free will because they wouldn't willingly harm themselves. So if you're using energy, manipulating energy to harm somebody, like that's going to come back at you.
Hmm.
Um, and then so like kind of depending on like I don't like how do you think of hexes?
How do I think of them?
Yeah.
Oh, I just use them to like help bring justice. Like I don't leave it up to me. I leave it up to the gods that I talk to that are in charge of like law and order, harmony, justice, stuff like that. Um, but also like I think if you practice only dabble, and I don't judge people who like deal with only black magic or white magic or gray magic or voodoo or hoodoo or whatever you practice, as long as you're being ethical. Do you, man?
Yeah.
Like for me, I never mean it to like physically harm anybody or like create debt, nothing that's long term. I leave it up to however they want to do it, but it's kind of like sent with the when it hits them, I hope that it jostles something like I wronged somebody. Like
Yeah,
I'm
like
having a sense of karma because I was a dick to somebody. And I hope when they have those revelations and stuff like that, it's like there's a face attached to it. Because that's kind of what I hope for me. It's like I'm experiencing something that's karma right now. Who did I wrong? Somebody's name is gonna come up in some way, and it's kind of like, okay, I need to reflect on that or something like that. It's to bring out a sense of good so that they will have an opportunity afterwards to right their wrong. It doesn't even need to like.
even
Ideally, I
just like bringing it into their awareness so that they know that
oh yeah, mine has a MJ signature heavy hand on there.
well, I'm glad I haven't gotten that yet. So
Yeah.
um yeah, so like in that sense, because like initially you had brought up um hexes to me more recently than not, and like I was trying to like interpret how you meant that because I know people who genuinely think that like they're powerful witches and like they can just inflict harm on other people who they feel they've been inconvenienced or wronged by, and it's like it's not about setting that intention to hurt anybody, but it's just kind of enhancing those energies that are already there to bring into their awareness that this is not okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I never do any like anything long-term harm. Like, so no broken bones, no car accidents, nothing like that. Like, it's just, you're gonna get fucked in whatever way the universe thinks is appropriate, because I'm not in charge of that. And hopefully it knocks, like you said, it knocks something into your consciousness about like, dude, I fucked up.
Yeah.
um I need to correct this. um but see, yeah, like I don't completely abide by the whole rule of three and stuff like that, because I think, and this is just me, like I'm not, like I said, I'm not judging anybody, you practice however you want. um I kind of associate just the white magic to be just like the love and light bitches out there. Not necessarily that they are, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, have you ever banished anybody? Because that's technically kind of gray magic. That's kind of like,
um
because I have banished people before, and
I mean,
but
not
it was in their favor. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't say I've done it in the traditional sense, but like I'll have times where because I don't really do anything ritualistic, but I've just learned how to work with energy so that when something doesn't feel right, if I feel like I need to
mhm.
get rid of a certain energy in my life, then I will focus towards um energetically removing it, and kind of putting that situation forward where it it would sever the tie. Like, um talking earlier about, like, more recently, like that person I was talking about, I'd really had in my mindset for a while of, I don't feel right about my relationship with this person, and I feel like I need to sever these ties, but I didn't really want to go about it in a way of just being like, hey, I don't want to be around you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the way it happened just kind of brought everything to the surface in a way that they decided for themselves that they didn't want our relationship anymore. Um, and when I put it that way, I just think of it as like, if I don't want someone around anymore, to manipulate them into thinking that they don't want me around anymore,
Yeah.
but like energetically, not psychologically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and it says a lot about people when you get very blunt with them, and you react a certain way, and then they react the way they do, and you're like, well, yeah, this is who this person is, and this is definitely not
Mm-hmm.
something that I want in my life, right? We were talking about banishing. I don't even know if I'm still on topic of banishing,
I
but
don't know either.
um, yeah, because like, so
Kidding.
that was just like kind of the example that came to mind for that, though, for like more recently, because that was really kind of what happened there. Is like, I kind of banished that person from my life energetically, and I don't know, like, it's being patient too with working with energy, because it takes
Yes.
time, and I think people want things to happen instantly, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 months of sitting there and really focusing on, I want to remove this energetic connection, or I want this
Mm-hmm.
to come into awareness, or whatever it is that you're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then just, like we were talking about earlier, I don't even know if that was actually part of the podcast, but like, when you do remove people from your life and their energy's totally gone, like, you make space for other people to come in, so you can reevaluate what you want, what you don't want, and set the intention for who can come in next to kind of fill
Mm-hmm.
that energetic space.
I also do like by banishing shit from like a place of good, because the only reason I feel why those, like, I was even talking to like a coworker today about this. Um, we at my place of work, we had there for a while. It was kind of like um the Defense Against the Dark Arts position in Harry Potter. How it was like every year it would move or something. Like the situation would, it would have to be. Oh my God, why the fuck can I not speak? A new person would fill it every book. Okay, it was kind of like that for a while with the position at my place of employment. So I use that to my advantage because I didn't like these two people that were hired for a time. They just had a really bad feel about them. And I later found out that both of them did not really want to be there. So I use that to my advantage because it's like, okay, I don't want you here. There's a lot of people who don't want you here. You don't want to be here. Let's use that to my advantage. So
Yeah,
with the proper timing, with the proper care, it's kind of like, dude, you know what? Just bring this person out of here. Like, go away. Like, no harm, no foul. Just send them
yeah,
more. You know what I mean? Because that's like benevolent and it's helping them. It's helping us. Nobody wants to be stuck there. I even tried to do it on my boss. Okay. I tried to do it on my boss twice because there for when he was there for a really long time, I fucking hated the dude. He was such a dick. Like he made people cry. And
yeah.
now that he's been here a couple of years, he's one of my favorite people to talk shit with. Like he's great. Like, and I was like, okay, I did it twice, and it was like he's supposed to be here. He's supposed to teach me something, or we're supposed to teach him something. now look at him. He is so caring and compassionate. He doesn't do feelings very well, but
Yeah,
he's learning. He's a Gemini. Like he's I'm proud of the dude that he has like evolved into becoming. And yeah, he's become a lot more thoughtful, caring with his words. I think he's here for that purpose. So,
yeah,
you know, I always give it up to the universe because it's like, you know what, I'm very biased. Like I'm a human as much as I like to transcend that. I am here to be human. You know what I mean? I'm going to be imperfect. Um, that's why it's kind of like, look, if I'm just being fussy in my feels, pipe my ass down. Like, you know what I mean? Like I give it up to the universe. I can do whatever, but yeah, I'm not the main. You know what I'm trying
yeah,
to say?
yeah. You're not like, you don't approach it from the mindset that like you have the ability to control it. You're just enhancing the energies that are already there deep down.
Exactly. And
And
also, I think only curses and love spells and, you know, whatever, if you're doing it for somebody on somebody out there, I don't think a lot of them work unless the person you're doing them on themselves is a believer. Like,
yeah, or they'd have to be like extremely vulnerable, but
yeah,
again, like it will rebound on you, like if it's
yeah,
not coming from a good place, and even if it doesn't work on them, it's still probably going to come back at you. And
yeah.
um yeah, it's about working with what's already there. And that's why I kind of like the concept of shamanism, because it's more about working with the energies that are there and like working with it, not manipulating, but
Hmm.
working with it to um bring in bring things into fruition. And it's a fine line, and it's kind of hard to fully understand it, what the difference is between manipulating energy and working with it.
Yeah.
um because some people can just view manipulating the energy as, I'm working with it. But yeah, I don't know, it just comes down to people are fucking weird,
I
pretty
was thinking
much.
like that's what some people think about therapy too, but it's like we're manipulating you, but it's like we're manipulating you to become more empowered so that you don't need us anymore. Like you move about the world in the way that hopefully you were reaching your goals to in therapy. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you can view it that way, because it really should come back to that self-awareness. Like you're
Hmm.
you're making them aware of things that are already there. And that's like coming back to that Capricorn energy. That's really what Capricorn energy is useful for, is helping people to see all sides of things and not just look at it through that tunnel vision of, this is how it is, this is what it is. It's, being able to take a step back and see it from every angle and try and understand it better. And that's really what therapy should be, is helping people to take that step back from themselves and see themselves from every angle, and not just the mindset that they're stuck in.
Exactly. Yeah. Interesting that you say that though, because I am so stereotypical of earth signs. I'm sorry, I'm working on it.
It's fine.
I'm trying to gain more insights onto earth signs, but since I don't have a lot of earth in my chart, I gotta start from somewhere, and that's a terrible place to start, but I'm trying. Um, yeah, so I'm trying to like eliminate those biases I have about earth signs in my level of consciousness. Like, so I did not know that that's kind of like the Capricorn's mission. And I guess like it kind of shares a lot of that with Libra because we're an air sign and we look at multiple
It's about
sides.
balance.
Is that's our whole thing and making connections with people and um justice and everything like that. Yes, balance. Also, they're both cardinal signs, so yay.
Yay. Yeah, and it's the same thing too. Like you said, initially you weren't a fan of Aries, and then once you
Right?
learned more about it and realized how much of that energy you actually had, and came to understand it differently than just those crazy erratic people who go off firing on all cylinders all the
Oh,
time. Like
exactly. Exactly,
it's
but you know what? That's in me. I didn't like that in other people because that's in me. It's all a
well,
reflection.
yeah, that's true. And it's true. Like earth signs can be pains in the ass like any other sign. Like people who are too watery or too emotional and it's intolerable.
Hmm.
People who are too have too much air and they're really wrapped up in that, they're too mental, so there's that disconnect from the physical and the emotional. And then too much fire, like you can be too passionate, you can be too aggressive, it's good, you need that fire energy so that you're willing to put in the effort and have that action aspect of it. And then earth signs can be, you know, too materialistic, too blunt, too lazy, too slow moving,
Practical,
too practical,
boring.
too
We got it. I
boring.
mean, everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a niche. I'm sorry, I'm just giving you shit.
You're giving me
Because I,
shit for being boring and practical.
it's okay to give me shit for being too loud and rambunctious and oh my god, fucking annoying. Can we even get there? Like, yes. Fucking annoying.
Oh god. But like, yeah, like any of those though, like it becomes annoying. Like the boringness and the practicality, it's annoying. The being too aggressive and too worked up, it's annoying. The being
It
too
is.
emotional is fucking annoying.
It's
Like
exhausting and
it
and
is. Like
yeah.
I have no patience for people who fucking have to cry about everything every 5 minutes. Okay, like just t- tone it down. Like you're
No, we have to work on it. See,
it's
see,
fucking
see how we
fine.
just switched there? See how we just switched there?
See, we can both mutually hate on water signs because neither one of us has a lot of water. So
But see, also, I went into mommy mode. Just like, no, don't hate on them too much. Even though in my head, I am totally thinking of that meme where it's like all these different, like, element signs, like the blonde haired chick is crying and screaming at the what is his name? He's from that one show from Jersey Shore. The earth signs and the air fire signs are screaming at each other. This cat is just crying in the corner as a no, it's a dude or something, I don't know. Woman is crying in a water sign, and then the cat, the air sign is just like with the scares back, like, you bitches, all of you.
yeah, well, I don't know if we're thinking of the same thing, but there's the one where the woman's screaming and someone had edited in the cat, but the
Yes,
woman's
I
screaming
remember that.
hysterically and she's like, "You're judging me! You're judging me!" And she's putting her
Like,
finger, and
like,
then the cat's just like, "Meow."
it's like,
I fucking love that.
I do too. And it's just like I was like screaming on the other side, and I don't know which one of these I am more like. I am both. I really am. It's so fucking annoying. It's so much. Do you ever wear yourself out,
Oh
or
yeah.
do you?
No, like
Or what? My emotions
I,
wear me out. They're just like,
I,
oh my god, or like it surges.
I heard like the weirdest fucking noise outside right now. I don't think the mic caught that, but it was like sounded like someone was just like ah, like I don't know. I don't think it was a bird. It sounded like a person imitating a bird. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I tend to get very wrapped up in my thoughts and my emotions as much as I'm not very expressive with either of them. Um, so I really have moments where I'm just like sit down and shut the fuck up with myself, like
Mhm.
like just let it go. It's fine. Like God, like you're fucking exhausting. Just shut up and go away for a while. Like
Gotcha.
oh yeah, no, yeah. I've basically learned to like parent myself where I
Yes.
just turn into that angry parent who's just like sit down and shut up for 5 minutes.
Oh, see, I used to be, and mind you, I still do have like flashes of that where it's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? However, majority of the time, it's kind of like, oh, honey, what do you need? Like, oh, we need to do check in. Like, what are we happy about? What's there to be smiling about? Like, or oh, what do you need right now? And just really light and flowy, but
Yeah, no,
sincere.
I need to be strict with myself. It's like, even with, oh my God, I cannot handle crushes or emotions. Like, this is probably a lot of why I'm single, because like once I get feels for somebody, I just can't fucking handle it. Um, but
I completely agree
I've
with
really
that
gotten
for
to that
me.
point where I just like will say or do something, and then the other part of me immediately after is like, could you not fuck it up for 5 minutes?
Oh my
Like,
God. See, for me, have you ever seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
yeah,
Okay, that part where Jim Carrey is like, why do I fall in love with somebody who gives me the slightest bit of attention or something like that? It's like, I mean, it's that's not exactly me, but basically, I don't know. The second we start texting, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm happy, like get like really giddy and
yeah.
super ridiculous, and it just becomes way. Oh, I just turn into like. Normally, I blame it on like my Libra-ness because we're Libras. We love love and we love affection,
Yeah.
like all that goody feels. But like the more I keep researching, like how squishy like Aries placements are, like that's something that they aren't typically known for. But I mean, yeah, like it is
Well,
Libra.
we all want,
Yeah.
it's weird how much we struggle to like just love and accept each other, because we all desperately want there to be at least one person in the world who can just say, I'm okay with you being you. I love the shit out of you and I want to spend my time with you. And
Yeah.
um and that's part of it too. Like, you're relating it to elemental signs. Like for me, I just relate it to my insecurities because I grew up feeling unloved. So it's like that moment. It's like that really hyperactive dog that you make eye contact with and you pet, and then it's trying to get on your lap and lick your face and won't leave you alone for like 3 hours. I
Oh
kind of
God.
like, I feel like on some level, like I kind of turn into that the moment I get attention from somebody, where like I just want all the attention once they give it to me. But
Same.
so I'm learning to like tone it down and calm it down. And, a 5-minute conversation with someone that goes well doesn't mean I need to marry them.
I
Like,
know. Oh my God. I'm that same way too. It's so horrible. It's
no,
so
like
horrible.
music teases the shit out of me, because I'll be like, I talked to this girl and she's like, yeah, do you have the wedding and your children's names planned? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And yes, I do. Um,
Oh my God, right?
oh my God.
Yes, it's so ridiculous. But see, the cool thing about, I don't know, I guess it's just kind of like what I've been doing last year or two. I wouldn't say two.
Different,
Basically this past year,
the
I've been
past
coming,
year.
what?
the past year. I
Past
feel
year.
like I'm on like the same wavelength with where you're going on this, because
Okay.
I've really been kind of getting into the same space. I think this is where you're going.
Okay. I've been moving more towards like an avoidant attachment, like not in a horrible way, but it's just kind of like I'm becoming more self-sufficient, like and kind of high maintenance. I don't know if this is exactly where you were going. I don't know, but like I don't even know where I'm going now anyway either. Where does that come with?
Well,
What?
I don't know. You said avoidant attachment and high maintenance at the same time. So like, do you just mean like you're not throwing yourself at people and kind of like giving them the space to um kind of give you some attention instead of throwing all your attention at them and like smothering them?
Yeah, I definitely do want to say that, but it's just kind of like I just want to withhold more, like not in a negative way, like not in
No,
a
I get what you
because I
mean though, because like I'm the type of person where I will meet someone once and have a conversation with them, and then it's like I want to give them like my entire life story and like all of my traumas and everything that I feel makes up who I am, like in the first 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and there's no room to get to know me um beyond
Yeah.
this gigantic rant. And like yeah, I'm getting to that point too where I'm realizing like I kind of need to withhold things about myself, and like I don't need to, like, I'm even kind of getting to the point where I'm like, I don't even need to get into the traumas with them,
Hmm.
because the moment you do that, you're looking for someone who has traumas in common with you.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to move away from that because I keep attracting these really chaotic, emotionally broken people. And I used to be that way, and I don't feel like I'm like that anymore. I'm doing a lot better, but I keep attracting them because habitually I get into that space right off the bat.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so like we don't need to bond over the fact that we had abusive parents,
Hmm.
or that we had really bad depression. Like that shouldn't be the basis for starting your relationship.
Right.
um so yeah, I get that. It's leave some space to kind of mutually grow into it and tone it down, slow it down,
Hmm.
and take your time. Like spend 3 months together and be able to, you're sitting there one night and then you're start talking more about your childhood stuff without it being the front and center right off the bat of the
Exactly.
relationship.
Yeah. Like, I think this is from a book that I've been reading lately. It's called, and once again, this is kind of like where I've been moving more towards. I mean, I've always been a bitch, and we'll get into that in a second. But I don't know. I'm just moving more into this higher maintenance. And by that, I just mean like me stopping to not giving people 90% of me and that allowing them only room for 10% to give back to me. Slash, like, that's all that they're willing to give me. Like, it's me pulling back to 50. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you can't give back what I am giving you, I'm going to feel depleted and I'm going to resent you. This is not
Well,
good.
and I have the same problem too, though, in that sense where like I want to give so much of myself right off the bat,
Hmm.
and I just leave this expectation that they don't have to give anything back to me.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, that's horrible. That's horrible boundaries. That's
Oh, it
horrible
totally is.
self-esteem.
But
Like,
yeah, that's how I grew up. Like I felt like I had no self-worth growing up, and I felt like,
you had to earn your love. You
yeah,
felt,
well, and I just felt like flat out like I didn't deserve love. Like I had to give and give and give to everybody else and not receive anything back and not give any love to myself. So I'm really shifting the same way. Like I'm starting to shift away from that because I need to stop. Um, I had a realization with the girl I was talking about earlier who was paranoid all the time, and we like started getting intimate with each other, like we were making out, and like I was just like I was kissing her, but like she wasn't like reciprocating at all, and like I felt so like empty, and I'm like, why do I feel this need that I should give all this affection to somebody else and
mhm,
not receive any of it back? Like, and I just reaching that point of realizing that I don't want that.
mhm,
Like I want someone who wants to give me as much affection as I want to give them, because
mhm.
it has to be 50-50, or at least something remotely close to that, and not this 90-10.
Yeah, I think in the beginning stages, like when you're dating or whatever, or boyfriend and girlfriend, I think it needs to be 50-50. But then when you're like married or like you are in a long-term, more permanent relationship in whatever way you do it, like you got to pull 100-100. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
no, I
that's
agree with
gotta come
that.
from both of you. Like, there's just
Yeah,
no way around it.
yeah, like you both need to be doing the best you can. And I think we touched on this before too, where like if one person can only give 30% one day, like the other person needs to be willing to be there to pick up kind of the extra slack and going the other way too. Like it really needs to be balanced, and it's just about being there for each other to make sure that um everyone's good and taken care of. And it
Mhm.
just, again, not being a dick. Don't hold resentment, don't keep a tally, just be there for each other.
Mhm. At the same time, regardless of how you feel about the woman, Jada Pinkett Smith or Will Smith, whichever one said it first, I forget. Like, your first mission is to make you happy. You cannot make anybody else happy, and nobody else can make you happy unless you are happy yourself first, or however the fuck they said it.
Yeah, which is true. Like if you need to take time away to go work on yourself, like, and that's the biggest thing, like, I see from a lot of people in relationships is like they need space for themselves, and then either they're worried their partner's going to take it personally, or their partner does take it personally, and it's like, this is nothing to do with you. Like, this is me sorting out my shit so I can bring the best version of myself back to you.
Mhm.
And I totally agree with, like, because there's been some flack around like Will Smith and his relationship, um just in the sense that like they have it more open, and like he says, like, it's not about the openness, it's about like being able to bring our best versions of each other back to each other to maintain a family and have a good connection. So it's letting go of all those um kind of biased thoughts and those feelings of like I need to be the only one, because it's very selfish. And I'm not saying um like the way they have their relationship doesn't work for everybody, um by any means, but it's finding that balance of doing what you need to do for yourself to bring the best version of yourself to that other person that you're with.
I haven't heard, sorry, I'm not like going to pinpoint. I haven't heard them so far. Maybe they have, I don't know. Directly come out and say, yeah, we have an open relationship. Because I knew they were on a break. I don't know. This isn't celebrity gossip week, but I don't know. I love them both and it hurts me, but
Yeah,
they're good.
what I got from it though is just that like they give each other the space that if they need to experience physical intimacy with somebody else, so that they can use that as a tool to bring like a better version of themselves back into the relationship. Like, they just basically have it built on, we are a family and we as individuals respect each other's space to go out and do what we have to do for ourselves to make sure that we're in the best place that we possibly can to nourish our relationship. I don't even remember where I got this from either. I don't know. But I just remember there was like
Man,
some flack a while back where like people were kind of like accusing them of being unfaithful with each other, and they're like, no, it's not like that. Like, this is just the way our relationship is, and this is what we do so that we can have a healthy relationship with each other, and we're both okay with it. Like, we're on the same page.
hmm, I mean, whatever works for them works for them.
Yeah, everybody's different. Like, for me, no, like I couldn't be in a polyamorous relationship where I was with someone who was having physical intimacy with other people and then being committed to me. Like, I need to be the only one.
I totally get that. I need to be the star of the show.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I just
Yep.
I couldn't handle that shit.
Although I guess there are studies out there that show that they're healthier. I don't know. Like I said, I think it just has to do with each couple. Each couple's different.
Yeah, it depends
Like,
on people and their boundaries and what they're comfortable with, and um finding someone who is on the same page with you about what you want in a relationship, and not trying, like, not being true to yourself to try and make something work with somebody else and keep them happy. Like if you're with someone who wants to be physically intimate with other people and you're not okay with that, then you can't be with that person. Don't hold them down and
Nope.
don't torture yourself, and
Right.
you know, find someone who's on the same page as you are, because yeah, we're not naturally monogamous creatures, but everyone's different. Like some people really do need that monogamy, and some people really can't handle it. And it's just finding someone who's on the same page as you are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I was gonna try to tie that back to magic, and I don't remember what I was going to say.
I don't, huh? Well, okay, we were talking about love spells, and I don't remember if I touched on this or not. And thank God for editing, because I can just cut it out if I said it twice. But um, my theory on like love spells, because you are working with energy, is if you are with another person and you already have that relationship established, is using that energy to kind of using that as a tool to work with the energy to clear any of the clutter that's in the energetic space that you and the other person share, in that sense of allowing the love that you have for each other already to flourish and not trying to force somebody else to love you. Like if there's already the connection there, it's letting that connection flow and clearing whatever's blocking the way and letting it move, and not like that's kind of how like I think of how love spells could work versus, the really typical kind of thought of, I'm going to cast a spell and this person's going to fall in love with me, because that just never fucking works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else on your mind for
Um,
today?
I think also just kind of like want to point out, like, if you did like use a love spell to get somebody to be in a relationship with you, like, are you really going to dedicate every Friday under like the perfect moon conditions continuously throughout your entire relationship to make them love you? Like, that's exhausting, man. Also, supplies adds up, and it's just like you could be out there with somebody who just genuinely loves you
Yeah.
without all the work, you know?
Well,
Use the
and
love. Go
yeah,
ahead.
like that's how I see it, is that like say you do cast a love spell on someone and they do fall in love with you, it's because the potential for that to happen was already there.
Hmm.
You just open the gateway for that energy to come through, or even on the sense of like placebo effect, that it was already there and you just opened yourself to being receptive to it.
Yeah.
um because yeah, like you just, if you're forcing it to work, it's never going to work. And like you said, like even if you were that good at manipulating energy that you did force it to work, are you really going to want to be with someone where you have to constantly maintain doing those things to constantly keep manipulating that energy? Like it would be exhausting. Like
Yeah.
you just drain yourself out, and
You deserve better.
you wouldn't be happy. Like it would be, it would crack after a while. Like
Yeah.
there would be cracks in it, and it would start to become very obvious, and it wouldn't be good.
Hmm. Yep, definitely.
I think we're good for today.
Okay.
But it was a good chat. I feel like it feels like it's at that good point where like it hasn't gone on for too long, but the conversation's kind of completed itself in all of
Yeah.
its chaotic messiness.
Yes,
Um,
agreed.
all right. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. We'll have a chat again soon.
Okie dokies. Bye
And
bye.
maybe we'll stay on topic next time. Maybe we won't.
Maybe.
It's a
Probably
mystery.
not.
Probably not.
We can always hope.
It is what it is. It's entertaining.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Ta ta.
Bye-bye.